Hi, I'm Leezá Steindorf. I'm an international leadership coach, a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and I've helped thousands of people around the world to build clarity and confidence and presence in their careers. And today we're talking about a moment that sneaks up on nearly everyone entering the workplace. You get assigned to a team. It may sound simple, but suddenly you find yourself navigating these deadlines and personalities. Maybe the roles are unclear or the rules aren't written, and no one told you how to do it. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to walk into your next team project with a mindset and skill set to lead, whether you're the official leader or not. You're going to have that understanding and you're going to have that confidence. All right, so let's be honest. Group projects in school, they were annoying. But group projects at work, they are high stakes and they can still be frustrating. So you might wonder, should I take charge or should I hang back and kind of wait and see what happens? What if someone's not pulling their weight? What do you do if the workload is not distributed evenly? Or how do I speak up without stepping on people's toes or, looking like the new guy on the block, right? Or gal. So here's the truth. Your ability to collaborate is one of the biggest signals of your leadership potential, right? And so collaboration means working well with others, seeing their potential and bringing your full potential, and looking for ways to move forward as a group. But collaboration does not mean being silent. And also leadership does not require having a title. So you can show leadership without being the leader, if that makes sense. It requires you to show up on purpose. Okay. So when I coach professionals through tricky team dynamics, I use a framework and it's called CORE, right? And CORE stands for clarity, ownership, resolution, and excellence. And these four pillars actually give you a way to move through any experience really, but especially team experiences, whether it's smooth sailing or it's full of tension. Either way, these four pillars give you more confidence and also actually a sense of maturity. So let's walk through what that looks like, okay? And I'll share how core can show up in group projects. So the first one is clarity, the C. It means you need to know your assignment and you need to know your role in it. Now, it's quite possible that hasn't been clarified, or it's been clarified on paper, but when you get into the team, it looks a little different, right? So before you dive in, ask yourself, what does success look like for this project? Do I know what's expected of me? And where can I bring the most value given what I bring to the table? So clarity means being proactive, especially when others are vague, or even if they've been specific, but you're still not quite sure. You get to clarify that for yourself because the more clear you are, the easier you're going to be able to bring yourself into that project. When others are vague, you can ask questions to clarify. For example, you can say, what is the main goal we're aiming for? And some people, well, it's already clear. What specifically is the first part of that goal? Like if somebody's pushing back saying it's already clear, then get more specific. All right. You can also ask, how are we going to divide responsibilities? Well, you three do this and you three do that. Amongst the three of us, are there specific roles you want us to take, right? If you're speaking with the leader of the group or if you're asking the group in general. So get as specific as you need to have understanding. And if you find that they're not giving you enough clarity, then give it a day or two, see if it clarifies. If not, you come back and you ask more questions. You can also ask, what's the best way for us to communicate? Right? Maybe, and that I can tell you as a communication specialist, oh my gosh, that is like the alpha and the omega. Ask, is it going to be email, Slack, quick personal check-ins? If you're not remote, if you are remote, how are you going to do that? Do you have a project management software? So get really specific about how you're going to actually communicate on the team. You can actually step in and ask for information, right? So clarity is really a huge part of leadership. Let's talk about ownership. And ownership is not taking blame. It's not carrying the weight of everybody else. The way that I describe ownership is you take 100% responsibility for yourself, for your beliefs, for your thoughts, for your actions, and for your words. Okay? 100%. You have no control over anything else. But for that part, you are in command. So it's in a team, it's easy to either dominate or disappear. Finding that middle place, being able to dance and collaborate and give and take, that comes with time and practice. So give yourself the opportunity and be gentle with yourself to kind of flow with that and see, when can I go this far? When shall I pull back? You'll figure it out, and every team is different too. So ownership lives in the middle of being dominating and too little showing up. You want to be right there in the middle, knowing how you can bring yourself, but also listening and stepping back when necessary. So you can ask yourself, what am I taking responsibility for? Like, ask yourself first after you've clarified roles. Am I following through with excellence? Like, am I coming from the place of my highest and my best, bringing that to the table? And am I leaving space for others to contribute? Okay, that's an important one too. And then also acknowledging when other people contribute and when things are going well. That does a whole lot for the entire team morale. So instead of saying, I'll just do it myself, try, here's what I've started. I'd love your input on this part. Okay, so you're bringing your part, but you're inviting in. And instead of saying, this is my problem or it's not my problem, you'd say, let's talk through how we want to handle that, right? So the ownership is yours for your own action, but you're also part of a team that you're supporting and you're contributing to. So ownership means you take initiative, but not control. You hear the difference in that? You have your actions, you come forward, you bring that, you offer, and then you see how it goes. You don't try and control the situation. You show up fully and you trust others to do the same, to show up fully and bring themselves. And actually, you bringing yourself fully with that ownership is an invitation for others to do the same. All right, let's talk about resolution. And the way that I describe resolution, it can absolutely be used in conflict resolution, right? Addressing conflict with maturity. But it also, I speak of it as an alignment, a resonance. When things are out of alignment or chaotic or not working well together, you bring things together, okay? And it's not if the tension will happen, it's when the tension will happen. Because anytime you have more than one person in the room, you're going to have some sort of tension, some sort of rub, and that's okay. That's not a problem in itself. How are you going to deal with that? So someone may miss a deadline, someone's tone might rub you the wrong way, or yours might rub somebody else the wrong way. So here's a secret. Teams do not break from conflict. They actually break from avoiding conflict. And resolution means you name the tension calmly. You could say, so I noticed this or that. You offer solutions, not blame. Don't point fingers. And you focus on facts and not feelings. Feelings are valid, but that's not what's going to get you out of the situation. And maybe they need to be vented first, but focus on the facts for the solution. Okay? So you can say something like, hey, I noticed we're a little behind. How can I support? Or I feel like we're seeing this from different angles. Maybe we can talk it through. How are you seeing it? Or you can also, if you feel like things are building, you can say, let's take a minute, let's realign before it gets frustrating or before we go too far down a particular road. Yeah, so give yourself permission to own your part in whatever's happening. Doesn't mean you're responsible for a problem or a conflict, but you certainly get to bring something to the table that can resolve a situation or that can avoid going down the path of conflict. So when you stay composed and solution focused, you create trust. Even when it's super tough, you can create that environment. All right, now we're going to talk about excellence. That's the E in core. And when I speak of excellence, I'm not talking about being absolutely perfect or being the ultimate in your profession. Excellence is actually the presence. It's what you bring to the table, and you can literally lead without having that title, as I've said before. Okay, so it's about how you carry yourself. It's knowing your highest and best and connecting with your the highest and best in other people. So it's not just what you do. It's literally the energy that you bring. It's your presence. And you don't need age, as I said, you don't need age or experience to bring your presence. You just need to be fully yourself on purpose. Yeah, you hear that? So you can, if you're going into a meeting, you're going into a group, you can ask yourself these questions as you go in, or even while you're in it. Am I elevating this group with my attitude and effort? Like, am I up leveling? You can ask, am I helping others to feel heard and supported? Am I acknowledging? Do they feel like I hear them when they speak? Then you can also ask yourself if you're feeling grounded, if you're staying grounded when things go kind of chaotic or get messy. So those are things you can use, questions you can ask to ground yourself, to center yourself, to stay in your zone of genius, as they say, to stay in your excellence. And you can also verbalize it outside, right? So you can say, great job on that. Let's build from it. Or let's clarify next steps so no one feels stuck. Or I really appreciate your input. I hadn't seen it that way. Right? So you stay in an ease-filled relationship with the group and with the people in the group. And you don't need a title to lead, as I said, right? You can have that leadership presence when you bring yourself with intentionality and with ease into a group. So you need consistency and presence and care. Yeah? Okay, so I want to offer you a practice for this week. The next time you're in a group setting, whether it's a formal team or it's just a planning session, just do one thing. Just ask one clarifying question out loud, only one, and see how it goes. For example, what does success look like for us here? Even if it's a short meeting. Or what's the best way to divide this up? Whatever the question might be, ask one clarifying question during that meeting and see how it supports the entire process of the team. And that moment of clarity literally can transform a group of people into a functioning team because people then come together. They have a common focus, if you will. And it also shows others that you are someone who leads from the inside out. So if this message helped you feel more prepared for your next team project, go ahead and hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend who may be navigating the same challenges, or a colleague. And if you want to build an unshakable presence and real leadership skills using the core process, then check out the resources linked below. You deserve to thrive in every team that you're a part of. And you don't need to be louder or smarter, but literally by being the best version of you and bringing that to the table. And let yourself lead with clarity and ownership and resolution and excellence. Thank you. Be well.